Good Monday morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and today I got a bizarre cruise news story for you today. A story of some really strange cruise passenger behavior that, honestly, I don't know if we will ever know what made this particular situation happen. Now, this began on April 30th. The MSC Bellissima, she was docked in Kobe, Japan. Around 10 p.m. that Tuesday night, local authorities received a report that apparently a man had fallen from the cruise ship into the water. Now, local authorities and rescue personnel were, of course, dispatched to the scene. The man was found, he was rescued, and other than a couple of scratches on his hands, was completely unharmed. Now, the story reports he was about 40 years old, reported to be a Frenchman on this particular cruise. And this is where it starts to get strange because he didn't actually fall from the cruise ship. He was climbing down the side of the cruise ship on a rope. Now, whether he fell from the rope or intentionally let go of the rope to fall in the water, that part is still in question. But yeah, he was climbing down the side of the cruise ship on a rope in what they say was an attempt to enter the country illegally, or possibly to enter the country illegally. But that's where the story gets even stranger. You see, the MSC Bellissima, she is doing a round trip sailing from Yokohama, Japan, which means this cruise passenger was already in Japan. He had to go through customs in Japan to get on board the cruise ship. That means when the cruise ship docked in Kobe, he simply could have walked down the gangway and headed right into town. There was no need to climb down the side of the ship. Now, Kobe was also not the only port that the ship was going to visit. So he has had multiple opportunities and would have had more opportunities to simply walk down the gangway and depart the ship and miss the ship essentially if he was simply trying to enter the country. But like I said, he'd already been in the country in order to board the ship. But because he went over the side of the ship, climbed down on a rope, fell in the water, well, he's not going to be getting back on board the cruise ship. Now he is being detained by Japanese authorities and he could possibly be facing charges. Now, there's several things we don't know about this story. Was alcohol involved? Maybe he had been drinking. Maybe he took some real serious advantage of the drink package and thought this stunt was a really good idea. Could be other possibilities. Perhaps he has a mental illness or something that we are not aware of. And just to put a little topper on the old strange cake that we have going on today, this isn't the first incident for the MSC Bellissima over in Japan. Back on February the 1st, an individual who has been identified as a Turkish national, he jumped over the side of the ship and attempted to enter Japan that way. And now both of these individuals are in custody facing immigration violation. So, I mean, what do you guys think? What do you think would prompt an individual to get a rope, tie it to the ship, begin to climb down the side of the ship, only to get into Japan when all he had to do was walk down the gangway, head up the pier, and bam, he would have been in Japan. Do you think it was alcohol? Do you think it was something else? Let me know in the comments below. So I finished editing the video and I had a thought, an addition to this video that I just had to put on here because I thought of a whole other scenario that goes along with this story. I just couldn't get it out of my mind. Why would this guy randomly climb down a rope? Was it alcohol? Was it mental illness? Well, what if it was actually none of those? What if he purposely climbed down the rope? Now, this could be a conspiracy theory type of situation. Now, go with me on this hypothetical situation here. And this is completely hypothetical. What if the ship docked in Kobe? He purposely gets off the ship, goes into town, and then comes back on board the ship. Now, if you've ever cruised before, you know you have to scan your sign and sail card in order to come back on the ship, and it's how they account for everybody. So he scans back on the ship, waits till it's dark, goes down the rope, and intends to disappear back in town. The ship would then depart, head back out to sea, and at some point after that, they would discover he is not on board the ship. The story doesn't say if he was traveling alone, traveling with a friend, family, anything like that. But at some point, they would notice he was not on the ship, even if it was all the way at disembarkation day. They would check the records, see he scanned back on the ship in Kobe, but never got off the ship again, at that point, they may assume that he jumped overboard or went overboard sometime while the ship was at sea. So my theory is, was he trying to just disappear? Was he trying to fake his own death, maybe? But that is the only reason, other than, maybe he had too much to drink or had a mental problem, as to exactly why somebody would climb down a rope in port when they could simply walk down the gangway. Was because maybe they wanted everybody to think that he'd gone over the side of the ship later on. Again, don't know if this is true, don't know if it's not true, but I thought I would put this here at the end of the video just to provoke a little more thought. I mean, what do you guys think? Is something like that even possible? Does that even fit the scenario that we are looking at? Or is there maybe another reason that I haven't even thought of yet? And that's going to be our quick, bizarre cruise news story for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.